Hey there, everybody. Welcome to our review of the Blacklist Season 8 finale. This is an episode that we all knew was going to be big, was going to be shocking. That was not the shock I was expecting.
No, there were some things that I really liked about it, but it has become very clear to me that I am disappointed.
Listen, we have not seen the comments yet, but I feel in my heart of hearts that there is going to be a lot of that same emotion because I am feeling frustrated about a number of different things. There are a couple of elements to the episode that I did very much enjoy.
There were some moments that I loved so much watching Red and Liz holding hands in the park, the back and forth with Red and Dembe. I loved seeing Liz go to the hospital and lay down with Wrestler and have that moment. There was a lot of stuff that I did like. And then there was some other stuff that is giving me the disappoint.
And then there was Wrestler jumping out of the hospital bed and running all the way to the restaurant after getting shot.
And that he figured out the entire plan.
Okay, we have a lot to go through here. We hope you guys are buckled in. You got your hard hats at the ready.
Yep.
You will need them, but hey, why not also hit that subscribe button because, I know this is the end of the Blacklist Season 8. We don't know what a Season 9 is going to look like now, but there is still a Season 9 every Friday throughout this summer. Jess and I, we will be here. We will be talking about the Blacklist and a lot of different subjects.
Yeah, we don't want the discussions to end. I mean, we've been having a lot of back and forth with you guys in the comments, and we've really enjoyed hearing all the theories, getting perspectives that maybe we didn't think of. It was really fun for us, and we don't want it to stop. So, Matt and I have decided that every Friday you can come to our channel all summer long, and we're going to have more discussions about, what could be coming up on Season 9. We're going to have a video about the ratings after they come out and sort of see what that spells out. We'll talk about different characters and where they could go through, and leave us some of your theories that you want us to talk about too. It is a long summer, but we're still going to be talking about the Blacklist.
And just in case you guys do want to keep up with all of our adventures all summer long, check out our Instagram at Matt and Jess TV. We have fun stuff over there. We had a nice grill burger fest of sorts.
You guys should see this burger that Matt made. It's like patty on top of patty with hot dogs. Listen, you just need to go over to the Instagram, follow us there, and you can see this burger.
I think it is a meal fit for Reddington's restaurant, but okay. Massive ringing of the spoiler bell and is a ding dong because I think unfortunately the bells have tolled for Elizabeth Keene. I think she is dead.
Yeah, she's dead. And I know that normally there's the whole sort of, if you don't see the body kind of going into the ground, then maybe she's not dead. But the cat's been out of the bag now for, what's it been, like at least a week, if not longer, that Megan Boone is leaving the show. And it came through Deadline, which is a very reliable source. I'm assuming, and I could be wrong, but as of recording this, that there are probably some interviews and stuff coming out about it now. I assume that the show won't just pretend like maybe she's coming back. Maybe she'll get out of this alive because it's already been kind of released. There'll probably be some post-mortem stuff out there, I would hope.
First of many tinfoil hats I'm putting on during this
here
video.
We go. All right.
Okay, so when in that Deadline story, they said that they knew of Megan's departure before the show was renewed for a Season 9. Mm-hmm. I'm going to deposit, though, that maybe John Bokenkamp and Eisendrath were still holding out the tiniest 1% of hope that Megan would not leave the show because they did not send Liz's body to the morgue. They just sort of panned out from her lying there. I think they left it a tiny bit open, but now that news is out, I think Liz is a goner. I don't think we're going to have zombie Liz in Season 9.
No, I think they wanted to leave just that little tiny possibility that she might come back. But this does dispel a lot of the, is she going to be recast with someone else? Which is something that I've been really vocal about in the comments and on this channel, that I do not want to see the leading actress of any show be replaced with someone else. It just doesn't make sense. And after the last episode where they started to kind of wrap up some of her story. I thought tonight they were just going to wrap up her story, because they pretty much have. They've wrapped up everything except what her relationship is to Reddington. It is still not been said by Red, which is beyond frustrating. It is so frustrating, because the whole premise of this show has been Liz, Red, and the mystery between them. The mystery still lives on, even if Liz doesn't. So now I'm kind of like, well, then how does it come out later? Because going into the next season, her story is wrapped up. So what is it? Like, how are we ever going to know? We're just never going to know? Like, listen, I know you guys, John, you want to hold on to this mystery, but this was the time to wrap it up and just open up a brand new mystery. Like, if she's gone, pivot the show into something brand new.
I don't like this. I mean, not your idea. I don't like how they...
How dare you?
Okay, I don't like how they handled this ending at all. Because I would have been more than cool with they wrap it up, bring about a new mystery. But like you said, they killed Liz without giving us an answer to the central question of the show. I watched this closely in case Red was whispering something to her or doing that nonsense, which would have also made me very, very mad. But beyond just that, I mean, we're obviously really infuriated about not having an answer there.
Yeah, it took us on a journey for 8 years to watch Liz, because a lot of this is through the lens of Liz, sort of, you know, him coming into her life and what has been going on with her in this journey of to try to find answers. Even in her dying moments, he can't just tell her. It was sort of like, why was I on this ride? This ride didn't actually take me anywhere.
And I think I'm gonna guess what some comments are gonna be now. I think people are gonna say, because we saw all these flashes of Katarina before Liz died, that this was meant to somehow represent that Liz figured out that Reddington is Katarina right before she went away. And I don't really buy that fully, because I still think there's enough wiggle room here for a number of different scenarios. And here is everybody ready for a flip-flop? I'm about to flip-flop on what I previously flip-flopped on.
That's all right. Listen, we're all here to just throw out our theories. Yeah. Things shift with this show, and that's one of the things that I like about the show. Yeah. It is all right.
I was so out on this being the real Reddington last week. I was like, this theory is dead. I'm done with it. I'm over it. Then, in responding to all the comments over the past week, I kind of got pulled back into it a little bit.
No, I agree. I mean, there was a couple of things tonight. You know, he mentioned sort of briefly that he's re-entered her life, and it feels like when you go back and you sort of look at the whole fire scene, and, you know, he's telling this story that Reddington died that night, and, you know, maybe he just didn't die that night, and it's possible that he's still around. It's weird with TV. A lot of times if you don't see a body go into the ground, like, there's always wiggle room to bring somebody back. That's what I've learned over the years of watching people come back from the dead over and over and over again. I think it's really disappointing to leave it sort of up to Liz's interpretation or all of our interpretation of what is the secret. You know, it wasn't clear that he was actually Katarina. It's not clear that he was actually her father. Nothing is clear. And the idea that she's gonna die not knowing after everything that she's gone through, including turning on Red, which nobody liked. Let's put that out there. Nobody liked this story. It made everybody angry at Liz. She went through it all to get answers and died without them. That is unsatisfying to me.
It's very unsatisfying. It's also okay, did Liz maybe put the pieces together? Once again, not enough evidence to prove this. I know Reddington said to her, if I tell you who I am or tell you what's in that envelope or anything else before you kill me, that you will not kill me. And I think people, if you're Liz, maybe you're thinking at that point, okay, maybe this really is my mother, or maybe this really is my father.
And to me, those are the only two logical answers that there is. Like, if it's some cousin removed that she just doesn't know, she may be more likely to be like, okay, maybe I will do this. Mother, father, that's it.
Here's the other problem with this. I think we've done a Prestige reference on this channel before, but you have the magic trick, and that's always fun, but you also kind of want to see how the magic trick is done sometimes. If this is Katarina, or if this is Reddington, whoever it may be, if this is it's up to interpretation sort of deal, that eliminates the whole fun of trying to figure out, okay, how did they make this work? If this is the real Reddington, how do you explain the duffel bag of bones? How do you explain these other mysteries? If this is Katarina, how do you explain all the question marks and the holes in that theory? We don't know.
Yeah, and the reason I feel a little bit robbed, and you guys tell me if you agree or not, is I had been waiting for that moment, for that aha moment for Liz to see, this is why I've been keeping this from you. This is why it's such a big secret of why, you had to be protected and all this sort of other stuff. Even if down the road, whenever the show ends, they have a moment where Reddington goes to her grave and confesses what it really is, it still won't be satisfying because she's not alive to get her answers. And I really wanted to see that.
There should be a red button that we can press now on the desk, because I think this is the time in the video where I'm going full DEFCON.
All right, here we go.
All right, I gotta take off the glasses for a moment and center myself.
It's pretty serious, because Matt can't see anything without them.
Van Dyke, out of all of the people who kill Liz, you have this dude who has said approximately, 12 words over the course of the season. This is no offense to Van Dyke, the character, no offense to the actor, no offense to anything like that, but if I would have rather seen Aram throw a croissant at Liz and she passes out and dies of that than Van Dyke, of all people, being the person to kill Liz, who I do not care hardly anything about. Yes, it makes sense because he was Townsend's guy. I get that. I understand all of that fully. I am not happy, Blacklist. Someone needs to give me a croissant to feel better.
Oh, I'll get you a croissant.
Yeah, I need some croissants. Aram, come.
No, I agree. That was also really unsatisfying. But at the same time, not everything in life is going to be satisfying. Not everything on a show will be. Sometimes goon number 2 is the guy who's going to end up actually killing somebody, like an important character. Sometimes it is just random. But they did have Townsend, so why not just let him live till the finale, have him be the person to kill Liz, move us into season 9 with this big, beautiful revenge story for Red.
Instead, Red kills Van Dyke, seemingly. He's gone. As far as we can tell, Townsend is gone. He's dead on fire somewhere.
Yeah, they did some fingerprints or some sort of something there where they're like, Liz is him. So he's gone. So what are we looking at for season 9? Who knows, right?
Yeah.
Like, the person that killed Liz is seemingly dead as well.
All of that just drives me crazy now, because I feel like there were so many more satisfying ways if you were going to kill Liz. Here is how you could do it. I would almost prefer them to go and drive just a truck full of money to Megan Boone's house, have her come back to the premiere, just so that Aram can then kill her via croissant, and I would be happier than what we got.
It would have been more interesting if it was Townsend, if it was maybe someone else that Red had been chasing down all this time, that shows up, that opens up the next mystery. Or even if it was an accident from someone on the task force, someone like Park or something, who's just like, I gotta stop her before she kills Reddington and she's not standing down, so I've made this decision. And then watch sort of the task force break apart in ways so that they can all go work with Reddington.
I wanted that, by the way. That would have been so fun for season 9. By the way, where's Hannah Baker and the burn notice and all of that?
Yeah, okay, so that was one of my other beefs with this episode. I know it sounds like all we're doing is complaining, and that's because we are. Welcome!
I have
but
some
there
good things
are
later.
some things that we like about this as well. But yeah, I thought that Hannah Baker story was going to really play out, that Liz has a burn notice on her. Okay, so she's going to have to go into hiding or whatever.
Yeah.
But then I'm kind of like... There was also, she said, the task force is going to be dismantled. There's no more Reddington coming around. Liz is gone. Task force is done.
Yeah.
But they're not done. They were all like sitting around the office working.
Yeah, Rob was doing the helium voice. It's like they...
Oh my God, that was so funny.
Yeah, that may have been the best moment of the episode, is when Reddington walks into the office and starts... Then Dembe, it's like they get you once and then they get you twice.
It was so funny. I was dying.
I had in my head, I had sort of formulated what this finale was going to be, and maybe my distaste for it is partially my own fault, because I thought we were going to see Liz just go off somewhere. Maybe she would have been in hiding like you suggested. Maybe it would have been something else. But I thought that the rest of the task force, maybe they'd get fired. They would all team up together to clear Liz's name. Hannah Baker would be the big bad of season 9. It's like I had it all written in my head.
Listen, I had my hard hat on that Liz was probably going to die, because if the character is just done, then I think they wanted to have it that she was just going to be done. However,
yes,
I thought that we were at least going to get the satisfaction of she went through all of this, she died for this, and she got the answers, that there was some sort of end to this that really felt like the end, but it didn't feel like the end. It felt like wah, wah, wah. She almost killed all these people in these planes. She almost killed herself. She almost killed Reddington. And for what?
Van Dyke
nothing.
shooter.
Yeah, for nothing. We got nowhere with this.
Okay, I do have something good to say. It would have been worse if Wrestler killed her. I will say...
Oh, no, I don't want to see that. I do not want to see that.
I will say, when we saw Wrestler running from the hospital to the restaurant, which I still don't understand, but we saw those sights. And then when we saw that gunshot and Liz started bleeding through the... I was like, oh no, Wrestler killed her. This is horrible. No. I'm going to lose my mind.
No, that would have been just... That's no.
No,
that's so bad.
That's NBC cancels the show in the closing minutes of the episode.
Yeah, no. I will say that I said a little bit at the beginning, I really liked the moments with Wrestler and Liz. I love that she went there to go see him. I love that she laid down with him and they had that really nice intimate moment and held each other's hands. It was so good.
Yeah.
And then it was... this whole setup with Reddington, where he's like, you're going to have to kill me. I've got it all planned. It's all going to be planned perfectly. It's very quiet. There's not very many people that know about it. There's like the 3 of us and that's it. I'm like, okay, there's no way that the task force is going to know about this, because no one's going to be able to figure this out.
Yeah.
Even with Liz's phone call to Aram, there was not nearly enough information for a wrestler to be sitting in that hospital bed being like, oh no, she's going to kill him. She's going to go to this party tonight. This is all. And he just laid out the plan like someone had told him.
Listen, here's my second
0 out of 10 on that. I really didn't like that.
For Wrestler.
Okay.
Wrestler, when he is near death, he actually has a superpower where he suddenly becomes really, really incredible at this job, and he is able to deduce everything. He's like Sherlock Holmes on like some other mental steroids, and he has figured. Wrestler is on the case now. Wrestler from here on out is going to be like invincible and hyper intelligent, and he can run without ever getting fatigued.
Okay, so there's also, I wanted to talk about, since we're 18 minutes in, if anyone is still watching us after all our complaining.
Yeah.
About that conversation that Reddington sort of had with Liz about the idea that if he had not come into her life, would she have still ended up being a criminal? And he made some points. And you guys tell me if you agree with him that it could have gone either way. But as soon as he started talking sort of a bit about DNA and whatever, then it's kind of like, it's like if you have two parents that are addicts, that you're absolutely gonna end up going down the same road. And that is not true. So if you have two parents that are both criminals or spies, does that mean that you have to be like that too? No. And all this time, Liz, they may have been protecting her from the shadows, but she went to school, she went to high school, she went to college, she went into the FBI. Nothing had ever happened to her. She was completely fine all this time. And she did decide to go into good and work for the FBI and try to catch bad guys. I think that this is very, very straight, this answer. And the answer is, if Reddington had not come into her life, would she have been a criminal? No, she wouldn't have been. There wouldn't have been sort of this influence to ride the line on things and kind of look the other way on things. I mean, she's working with people like Harold, who sometimes lives in the gray area, but not to that extent. Aram, who does not live in the gray area at all. And Wrestler, who does not live in the gray area at all. They are both on the side of just good. And if these are the other influences that are working with her, then where would she have kind of decided to just be a criminal?
So much of like all of the gray area-ness of these characters is because of Reddington coming in. Like, he affected everybody at the task force from who they were before that. And ultimately, like, I understand why Red says what he says in this episode, because I think there is such a thing as the lies you tell yourself, and I think Reddington wants to believe that this could have happened to Liz regardless. So I don't think it's necessarily a flaw of the show, but I think it is a very clear answer, and I think that Reddington not understanding that Liz may not go that path was a little bit surprising to me, because he's usually pretty astute, but maybe he had to say that sort of stuff out loud. It was an interesting moment, though, because I kind of felt like they were really going down a road with that, where Liz was ultimately going to be like, I can't do this, I want to be the good person, the hero, and she was not going to die. She was just going to go off somewhere and we wouldn't see her on screen.
Yeah, there was a part of me that really wishes that she had never agreed to go through with this. And she did say at first she doesn't want to. Yeah. And he kept harping on her and kind of, being like, please, this has to be a thing that I need you to do to make this all work. I wish that she had just stuck to her guns and been like, listen, I'm not willing to do this. And maybe there was some sort of other way or threat or something. I didn't want to see Liz go out agreeing to kill him, even if he tells her what he did, which is something we've all suspected for a long time. He is dying. He has some sort of terminal illness. He is dying. And even with that, I mean, I'm glad that at the end she was like, I really can't do this.
That made sense to me. Like, I understood how we got to that point with Liz. I think they're not going to have the Blacklist without James Spader. I think we all... No. It's impossible to imagine that. So that whole little game they were playing halfway through this episode, it's like, okay, you guys aren't going to kill Reddington. I'm not going to believe that in a million years.
No.
The one other moment that I really, really did like, is I loved the, okay, we're going to play a cover of Somewhere Only You Know, which is that really, like, song that always, like, gets your heart. And then you've got Reddington and Agnes and Liz and Mrs. French. And, okay, so if you guys remember...
So good!
Like...
I thought I was gonna cry all over the place. Took everything I had not to, but it really got me.
If you guys remember a few weeks back, Jess had this theory that Mrs. French was really Katarina. And in that moment, we saw Mrs. French and Reddington, and I was just thinking, if that is really this is like such a sweet family gathering of maybe this is the real Reddington and it's Katarina. It's like the whole family is together doing something for the very first time.
Yeah, this very much felt like this is the real Raymond Reddington. This is actually Liz's dad, and Katarina is Mrs. French, and it was the whole family. Everybody's there. Agnes, Liz, Dembe, everybody. That it is like the family. Because otherwise, why is Mrs. French in this scene? We have seen her like 3 times now. Like, it felt like they were telling us something.
Yeah, because they could have easily been just like, okay, Mrs. French, thank you for your services. Here's $10. Go hang out at a Starbucks somewhere for a couple of hours.
Now, here's another sort of theory that people have been throwing out there online is that they're going to go into next season, they're going to grow up Agnes. And that Agnes is going to sort of be the next person that needs to be protected. But we know that Red is dying. So if they grow up Agnes, who looks like she's got to be, what, like 8, 9? Let's say they make her 20. Reddington's dead at that point. He's not on the show anymore, so that isn't going to be a thing that's going to be going down.
No, I think...
They're not going to get rid of Reddington.
No, maybe we'll have a time jump of weeks, months, maybe. Maybe we'll be in the immediate aftermath. That's the only thing that I can really kind of tangibly picture based on all of this. But, okay... Here's one thing I just want to say about this in general, is that obviously this is going to be a very polarizing finale. We weren't big fans of it. I don't know how you guys feel about it yet. I'm sure you'll let us know in the comments.
Yeah, don't get us wrong, there was moments in this. There was a lot of nostalgia with all the flashbacks. There was a lot of really nice, tender moments. All the stuff with Reddington and Dembe when he was leaving,
Yeah.
The restaurant, they're holding each other's faces. It all got me. It got me. It was beautifully done, beautifully acted. It was just, there was some story issues that we had some problems with.
And this is where I like to throw out a reminder to everyone, including ourselves sometimes, that don't forget about the journey just because the end isn't exactly what you want. It's sort of like...
It's like Lost.
Yes.
For all of you that have watched Lost, I've watched that show an unhealthy amount of times. It is my all-time favorite show. I absolutely love it. And I am the one person that liked the ending. I had, spoiler alert, assumed that they were all dead from the beginning or that it was going to be something like that. So by the time we got to that ending, I was like, satisfying for me. I am the only person that is living on that lost island because for the most part, everyone else hated that ending. But that doesn't take away from how incredibly good that journey was. That show is so good.
Okay, I kind of like the ending too. Not as much as you did, but I kind of liked that. I was fine with it. But this isn't going to take away from how much I love the Blacklist, how much we love coming on here and talking about all of it. And I do still think there are a lot of interesting stories to be told. I mean, we'll scour the internet over the next couple of days and see what's being said. And we'll maybe talk about season 9. Maybe we'll get some interesting theories together.
And we will have a video up on Friday for you guys. So make sure you're subscribed. You are here at the channel on Friday. We're not stopping the discussion this summer. We're all in it together.
I just can't believe she's dead. Like, I
can believe
I was so delusional.
I thought maybe your theory of hiding could happen. I thought death was probably a good one. I thought my theory I already knew wasn't going to happen, which is that she was going to take his burden and take it away from him of this carrying this secret. I mean, there was a moment in this episode I thought that she was royalty. And that was the whole thing when Agnes was like, oh, he tells me this story of, a princess. And I'm just like, oh my goodness. Okay, is this where we're going? Is this why Liz had to be protected for 30 years? She's some sort of royalty, but it seems they did not go that way.
No, we all had different theories about all of this. I thought for sure they would keep her alive because they would bring Megan back in the series finale and Liz would reunite with everybody. We would get a happy ending, but guess what? It's the Blacklist. People die. We're all going to just go be sad and or confused now.
And have croissants.
We all need a croissant. Metaphorical invisible croissant toast to everyone. Thank you guys for watching. Let us know what you thought about all this, and we will see you guys here next time.